Hello! It has been a really long time since I've posted any videos, and for the first time in what feels like forever, I actually feel a little bit motivated to talk about some of what we've been going through the past few years. And I am hoping to start creating more content, but not on a super regular basis, just need to be more realistic about what I can handle. But yes, I am in fact still alive. I realize it's a teeny tiny audience that will probably ever see this. So with that being said, let me kind of jump into everything. It is so hard to just even figure out where to begin. So one of the big things that we've been dealing with in the last few years is addressing our infertility. Infertility is such a hard topic to talk about. It's so personal. It can be hard to talk about it even with your close friends and family. And I think it can be really helpful to start opening up about it and talking to other people about it, because it can feel really isolating and just you're keeping all of this in. It's really, really so hard on you. And there is so much that look at this. And there's so much that I want to say and share about what our journey has been like so far. And I'm actually wanting to talk about this in a separate video because it is way too much. If I can help out anyone that's going through a similar situation to us, even if it's like one or two people who are finding a small piece of information that they didn't know before, I would love to be able to do that. But to try to kind of summarize for purposes of this video, we have known about our infertility for a long time. We did not feel like we were equipped to address it really until kind of in more recent years. Unfortunately, that's just how it worked out for us. And there's so much that we didn't know along the way, especially at the beginning, that it just took us a really long time to kind of like figure out what to do, when to do it. And then there was a pandemic that was thrown in the middle of this whole time period that really kind of screwed things up as well. So last year in 2024, I did 1.5 rounds of IVF, and then this year I did another round that I just completed. So we're kind of like still in the process of it, unfortunately. Man, it is not for the faint of heart. And going through IVF is just, for me at least, it has felt so like all encompassing. It has been my top priority for like forever. And I've just been trying to kind of like go about my life, do other things. And I like literally can't detach myself from the fact that I'm going through this because there's just so much that it involves. So yeah, this has been quite a journey that we've been on so far, and that's kind of been our top priority and at the top of our list for a long time. And then on top of all this, while we have been actively going through the process of IVF, two of our parents, we're lucky enough to still have 4 parents with us, which is such a wonderful thing that I realize a lot of people don't have at our age. 2 of our parents were basically having a very quick decline in health. And most of this decline was happening in 2023 and 2024. So, man, it is so hard to transition from being, you're just taking care of yourself. You're trying your best to take care of yourself and probably doing a terrible job at it. And then suddenly you're needing to kind of step in and help take care of your parents. And this was a huge shock to the system. We didn't really anticipate that this would happen. Obviously, nobody does. We've been lucky that most of our grandparents have lived a pretty long time. So it's scary when you have parents that seem like they are declining earlier than you would expect, at a faster rate than you would expect. We have had to come back to Las Vegas a few times to kind of help take care of them. They were having like emergency room visits and things were kind of escalating quickly. They are both doing okay, if like okay, you can even put it in those terms, but long story short, we had to move home. So we are now living in Las Vegas and we are helping to take care of our parents. We are kind of like part-time caregivers, and it's been a lot. It is so hard to deal with aging parents. It's been a long time since we've actually like lived at home here in Las Vegas. I don't love Vegas. I kind of have like a complicated relationship with Las Vegas, kind of like emotionally. It's my home, so there's a lot of, sentimentality, but I just cannot stand how hot it is. So I struggle with living here, especially during the summers. I'm like a recluse, I don't go outside. So I don't recommend moving 3 times in a year because we essentially had to do that. We moved ourselves back home, and then we helped my family downsize to a smaller home, and they lived in a big house. When they bought their house, it was really cheap, and downsizing them to a really small house across town. Super hard. Don't recommend if you can avoid. Not super fun. We literally did this, I think, the month after we moved ourselves here. And then a few months later, we also moved ourselves into our own place because for a few months we were living with James's parents. It was quite a year, 2024. And I feel like it probably aged us about 5 years, like the last 2 years alone. And because of all these like big life transitions we've been going through, obviously it's been hard on our mental health. There has not been as much time to kind of like find these outlets of things to do that we love. Like music hasn't really been a part of our lives, which just breaks our hearts. I have kind of like needed to take a step back from acting. Not that there's much going on in Vegas anyway. Like not having creative outlets has been hard, but we like haven't even had the time and energy and motivation to really focus on anything other than like helping our families and trying to just like stay alive. So but getting back to future content creation and moving forward with this channel, I plan to do at least a couple videos talking more in depth about our experience with our fertility journey so far, specifically talking about what it's like as someone that has diminished ovarian reserve and what it feels like to be going through IVF and it not going the way you hope and would expect to. And I'm also hoping that we will be able to post some music content, some more song covers, things like that. Maybe when the weather gets a little bit cooler, I'm like so ready for October. I will be back to hiking again. Probably gonna be doing a few vlogs at Red Rock Canyon here in Las Vegas. I might also throw in a plant tour, going over my plants that I've somehow kept alive in our apartment. Can't say the same for outdoors in Las Vegas. It sucks and they have all died. But hopefully that won't be the case come the fall. Probably gonna kind of have a bit of variety. I don't care about like having things streamlined. Nothing about my life is streamlined. Like I said, it's not gonna be on a weekly basis. Just gonna pop them out when I feel like it. And I just need to be okay with that. So, thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end. I really appreciate you wanting to know what's going on in our lives. I hope that you guys are all well and doing the best that you can, and that you are surviving these tumultuous times. It is a crazy time that we're living in, just bonkers. So again, thank you so much for watching. Have an awesome day, and I hope to see you later. And, all right, let's do this. Hi. Why do I suck? What am I talking about? Oh, God. So, with that being said, let me go ahead and just jump into all the stuff. Yes.